get a fighting Pokemon, most likely. I assume a Buzzwole out.
Yep, starting that Remoraid, of course, and also having a Rockruff on the bench. Getting a Buzzwole here just makes the most sense, and, you know, it gets all three of the main Pokemon he needs on this first turn in play. Sure enough, using that nice promo artwork, Buzzwole GX. I do believe I just saw a Max Elixir in his hand as well, so this is going to be a solid turn from Zach, getting at least one energy in play, potentially, I guess, from the Max Elixir. Over on Ryan's side, he did start a Buzzwole GX of his own and also has a Remoraid on the bench, and if Zach doesn't move his Remoraid this turn, it could definitely go down to just a strong energy plus a Regirock from Ryan, doing 60 damage.
Right. We do see that energy come down. He does have another energy in hand, so he could attach it to that Remoraid and retreat it finally.
Yeah, he could definitely retreat it if he's scared of losing this Remoraid. Maybe he looked through his deck and saw potentially one could be prized, but if he has the other one in there, you know, losing one is not the worst thing. You definitely don't like to lose it, but nope, even better than
Floatstone.
Even better than retreating with an energy is retreating with a Floatstone, the Pokemon tool card that gives any Pokemon it's attached to free retreats.
Allowing him to attach that energy down to that Buzzwole, making him even beefier.
And a Professor Sycamore as well. This is an excellent turn on Zach's side of the field. Got 2 energy in play.
And he has another energy in hand for the next turn.
Yep, he definitely has a follow-up option. It'll be interesting to see if he does choose to retreat this Remoraid. Sure, you don't want to just let it go down, but at the same time, you don't want to let your Buzzwole just get damaged for nothing. He does bench the Mew. I can maybe see him retreating into that, but that's also something that could easily go down, and you need that Psychic-type attacker in this mirror match.
He does end up passing on to Ryan, who has just started his turn. Kind of just looking what he has option-wise.
Yep, I do see an Ultra Ball. He also, of course, has access to using Zach's Brooklet Hill Stadium cards in the Pokemon TCG. Of course, both players are able to use them, and that looks like that's what Ryan's just going to start things off with, is just a Brooklet Hill. If he has access to that Regirock EX with that Regipower ability, he will, and if he can find a strong energy, he will be able to knock out this Rockruff.
Let's see, he ends up looking like he's going to go for his own Rockruff here.
Yep, very similar boards so far from these guys. Both have Remoraid, Buzzwole, and if he gets a Rockruff, we're one step closer to just that, be a really similar board.
It's as if they're playing the same deck or
what
something.
Do you know? What do you know?
The best deck of the season has come over.
Yes. Yeah, very, very powerful deck. I've even talking to a couple of players, I know Jimmy Pendarvis has all weekend been saying that Buzzwole Lycanroc is the best Pokemon deck of all time, which is a very bold statement, but I mean the consistency.
I would almost agree, actually.
The consistency we've seen from it, the just sheer power of this huge basic attacker that can do so much damage for just one energy. You know, it's an argument worth making, honestly.
It honestly is.
So he's got an Ultra Ball in his hand. He could go get something with that. I think I also see a Fighting Energy at least. Maybe a Max Elixir. I can't quite tell. Yep, there is indeed a Max Elixir. And
he
he does miss, unfortunately. He had the Ultra Ball in his hand, but maybe just wanting to save that for a Octillery next turn, so that's why he didn't play it. Normally, of course, you would probably play the Ultra Ball first to thin one more card out of your deck, just making it that much of a percentage more likely to hit the energy card on those top 6.
Right.
But, you know, it looks like he may opt to just hold it this turn.
Does end up attaching that energy to the Buzzwole, maybe. Could say the Bamboozle here, but... Looks like he's going for it, yes.
He is going to attach that energy. And sure, it's not the strong energy. Sure, he won't get the knockout. But he will, you know, spread 30-30 to this Remoraid and one more benched Pokemon and potentially set up a 2-prize turn next turn.
It's certainly nothing to sneeze at with these fragile Pokemon on the field on Zach's side.
And look at this. The same board almost. If there's just one more energy over on Ryan's Pokemon. You know, these guys both having the Mew in play. Of course, that Memories of Dawn ability, really great to copy Buzzwole GX. It's mostly used as a counter to Mew EX, since for a Choice Band and a Fighting Energy, it can just, you know, take the knockout. But, you know, also really good, of course, against the Psychic Weak Buzzwole.
Right. On to Zach's turn. Let's see what he has planned for us. Looks like he will attach that energy to the Mew instead with a Choice Band.
Yeah, and this is really solid for Zach. He's going to do 120 damage with Jet Punch on the Mew, and that is so much damage for just a little 50 HP Pokemon for just one energy onto this massive Buzzwole GX.
Right?
And so, you know, definitely a solid option for Zach. It looks like he just used Brooklet Hill, chose not to get anything though, and he's going to play an Ultra Ball here. I'm going to guess that this is probably going to grab an Octillery.
More likely, yeah. There it is.
Definitely wants to get that in play. He also, getting Octillery this turn is crucial because, if Ryan was able to respond with his own Buzzwole, he'd take a 2-prize turn by knocking out Remoraid and Mew. By getting Octillery, Remoraid goes up from 60 HP to 90 HP, so it'll have 60 HP remaining after the 30 on it, and it will not go down to a Jet Punch from the bench.
Right.
We also see that Abyssal Hand, of course.
Getting 3 cards.
3 cards. Looks like he did find a Cynthia, so he'll at least have some sort of supporter option this turn. I think I see a Lycanroc in his hand as well, but I think he may want to save that. He may not want to use that yet.
I don't see any reason why he would need to at this point.
Yeah, Bloodthirsty Eye is such a powerful ability, letting you bring up one of your opponent's benched Pokemon when you evolve Lycanroc, Rockruff into Lycanroc, excuse me. And Dangerous Rogue, always a good attack. And, both of these guys have played this deck a lot. Zach is a very experienced player with this deck. Ryan, of course, won a regional championship already this year with this same deck.
Right.
These guys both know what they're doing. They have played many, many mirror matches at this point, so it's good to see how the top players want to approach these specific matchups.
Right. Zach looking around, seeing what needs to be done. He ends up retreating that Octillery for the Mew. We'll see that 120 damage come down onto that Buzzwole.
Yep, and it looks like Zach actually does play 2 copies of Mew from Fates Collide. Some of these Buzzwole decks do only play 1 copy. Zach choosing to play 2 could pay off here against this Buzzwole mirror match.
I definitely think he was thinking that because there's going to be such Buzzwole heavy format here.
So many Buzzwole decks here in this tournament.
The extra Mew actually does a lot of work.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Ryan here kind of trying to figure out what he wants to do. He's going to start things off with a Brooklet Hill. Even if you don't want to get anything with Brooklet Hill, if you're able to use it, I think it's usually just worth using it because you want to just remind yourself what you have access to in your deck, maybe double check what's in your prize cards.
Of course.
And, you may always just want to get something as we see Ryan grabbing this second Buzzwole GX here.
Always a solid choice to have an extra Buzzwole on the bench.
Oh, yeah.
We see that Max Elixir. Will he get it? It looks like he did.
Yeah, very first card does find him a Fighting Energy. He is definitely grateful for that because, he missed that first one. And it's going to just go on to that other Buzzwole GX. And if Ryan is able to find another Fighting Energy, he could actually retreat this active Buzzwole, but then he loses 2 energy. If he could find a Float Stone, maybe he'd retreat this active Buzzwole and be able to take a knockout with this clean, undamaged Buzzwole.
Right.
So looking at his hand here, I haven't seen what he's got yet. He has not attached an energy. He hasn't played a supporter yet. It looks like he does have another Elixir. Debating playing that. Hasn't yet, though. Looks like it will come down. He could also just spread his energy out, maybe prep the Rockruff. Like we said, Dangerous Rogue is so good. I could also maybe understand powering up Mew, but with 30 damage on it, that definitely seems a little risky unless you want to use it this turn.
Right.
Yeah, putting that energy on Mew definitely tells me he's going to have some way to attack with Mew this turn. Otherwise, it would just be kind of a silly energy attachment because, it just gets knocked out on the bench. It only has 20 HP left.
Right.
But maybe he, Zach went for a Jet Punch with his Mew onto Ryan's Buzzwole. Maybe Ryan's trying to pull off a similar sort of play. Maybe he has a Guzma in his hand. Looks like Ultra Ball can find him what he wants. Ooh, gets rid of a Guzma, actually, and a Professor Sycamore.
Interesting choice.
Yeah, he must have other options in his hand, maybe other Guzmas. Maybe he's getting a Lycanroc with this and then going to go for a Sycamore or something like that. So he can use that Bloodthirsty Eyes and then, bring up that Buzzwole, and then Sycamore try to hit the Float Stone he needs. So we'll see what he decides to do. He doesn't need Lycanroc necessarily this turn. It looks like he's choosing to get nothing there.
Right.
Because it's always tough, right? Because you want to save Lycanroc for a turn that you can get great use out of this super strong ability. But at the same time, Rockruff is fairly vulnerable with only 60 HP.
Yeah.
So it looks like Ryan did opt for the Professor Sycamore here. Definitely going to be looking for a Float Stone. He does indeed find one. There we go. Very nice. Has a Choice Band as well, I think. He's going to put a Fighting as attachment for turn. And we see Ryan marking that is his energy attachment for turn. Just making sure that there's no accidental extra energy attachments going on here. And we're going to see that Buzzwole move to the bench.
With that Mew, I would assume, coming up.
Yeah.
There we go.
And he'll be able to take, a prize on Mew this turn, and we'll see where he puts this 30.
Goes straight to the Octillery.
And this is what we saw Ryan do in the finals of Charlotte Regionals. He really targeted down Alex Szymanski's Octillery. Even whenever he knew he wasn't going to knock it out that turn, he really valued just taking that draw engine out of play for Alex. And it ended up winning him a regional championship, so he's going to opt to do it again here. I think Zach was debating playing a Elixir, but decided at the last second not to. He does have a lot of energies in his hand, so maybe thinking, man, there's really not a great chance I hit this, so maybe I should just like Cynthia some energies back in.
Right. But
no.
He ends up getting the Lycanroc GX.
Yep, and I think here, if Zach can pull off a play where he uses Lycanroc GX's Bloodthirsty Eyes, brings up that clean Buzzwole, hits the Max Elixir, and gets an energy attachment, and takes a knockout with Dangerous Rogue, and has 2 energies on a benched Buzzwole, that's a pretty strong board position if you ask me.
Exactly. He's sitting pretty at that point.
I think that's going to be the play that Zach is trying to eye up here. Let's see if he can make that happen. He does have a Cynthia in his hand, so after using this Bloodthirsty Eyes, after using this Elixir, he will have options there. Here comes the Elixir.
Drawing 6 to see if he can net himself 1 energy, and
there
he does.
It is, very nice.
Straight onto that Rockruff.
Yep, playing it right away. And he does have the energy already. He does have the Lycanroc already, so he has the tools to take this knockout on Buzzwole if he wants to this turn. We see the second Mew hitting the bench as well. It looks like he's going to opt not to do that, actually. He wants to maybe just spread his energy around, take his time a little bit. He knows he's going to get the knockout on this active Mew anyway with a Jet Punch or something like that. Ooh, this is actually very strong here. He's able to bring up that benched Mew and, that benched Buzzwole, send the other Mew to the bench, and can potentially take a 3-prize turn here. At this point, all he needs is the Choice Band that will give him the damage he needs to knock out the Buzzwole. Of course, Buzzwole with that 190 HP. He's only hitting for 60 right now without a Choice Band because of weakness. So if he hits a Choice Band here, this is an incredibly strong play. And he'll leave himself with the Dangerous Rogue threat plus a Buzzwole GX threat. I don't know that I see it, though.
Don't think it's there.
He does have an Ultra Ball, though. He can thin his hand down a little bit and still use Abyssal Hand to try and draw the Choice Band. And it looks like this is the play that Zach is kind of going all in on, that he's really going for here. With this, I think we can maybe see another Buzzwole. I could also see maybe another Rockruff hitting the bench, or another Remoraid if he's worried about losing this Octillery next turn.
The possibilities are honestly endless.
Yes, lots of different options. Looks like he's going to get nothing. He's also trying to be conscious of his own bench size because he wants to play around Ryan's own Dangerous Rogue GX. So by not getting another Pokemon there, he's making sure that that option is, not there.
Right.
So we do see a Max Elixir getting top 6 cards. Let's see if we see a basic fighting. We do indeed. Gonna put it onto that Buzzwole GX. That boy is fully ready to go. And I wonder if he doesn't get the Choice Band here, if he'll still Jet Punch with Mew.
There is a possibility, I think, but he really needs to find that.
Yeah, the Choice Band would just be such a powerful play for him. And he's going to have 3 cards to do it here. Let's see if he can find the Choice Band off of these 3 cards. 1, 2, 3, come down. There's a Sycamore Guzma and a Fighting Energy, I think. I don't think he hit it.
Don't think he hit it, but he's still going to retreat that Octillery out and bring up the Mew.
Yep. He'll still do 100. He'll still leave 180 damage on this Buzzwole, so it's very easy for it to be knocked out in the future. And I could even see him putting 30 onto the Rockruff, but no, he's going to go ahead and take the prize.
He's just going to take that prize straight away.
Which I think is totally fine.
It's fine, considering that Mew could always come back to haunt him with another attack.
Absolutely. So on to Ryan's turn. I think if I'm Ryan this turn, I'm going to try to pull off some sort of Dangerous Rogue play on that Buzzwole GX. He would need a Choice Band plus a Strong Energy to get the damage output in order to get the knockout. But that's definitely something that this deck is very capable of.
Of course.
Because that Buzzwole GX is definitely a very big threat right now.
Ryan's looking through his discard, looking at his hand, trying to think of all his options. Ends up going for that Brooklet Hill.
Gonna start off with that always.
Just to see what he has. Looks like he's opting to get something possibly this time.
Yeah, eyeing something up there. He could also choose not to get anything because he may want to play around Zach's Dangerous Rogue GX. Neither of these players have used a GX attack yet. So he may want to play around that. You know, it's kind of a game of cat and mouse almost in this mirror match. Like, you want to play around what your opponent's doing, but at the same time, you have to get yourself set up, right? You still have to get Pokemon in play. You still have to get energy attachments.
He opts for the Sudowoodo, it looks like. And as you were saying, it's like a weird dance because you don't want to go completely full throttle. You have to spread your energy around to make sure that you're fine for the late game should something happen.
Yeah. And it's always, like, Sudowoodo is also just an extremely good card in this mirror match. It just is able to copy so many different things.
And it's that cheeky one prize attack.
Exactly. And it can be powered up out of almost nowhere as well, sometimes with a, with an elixir plus an energy attachment for turn. So it's definitely a great surprise factor. Ryan going to go ahead and bench it, though. And he used a Lele to find a Cynthia, puts a Choice Band onto the Buzzwole.
As well as a Choice Band onto that Little Rockruff.
And we'll see what he wants to do with this turn. He does have options, like I said. He could try to Jet Punch, knock out this Mew if he found a strong energy. He can try to get that Lycanroc play off, like I said. If I was Ryan, I would definitely be scared of that big Buzzwole on Zach's bench.
And he ends up to play the Cynthia.
Yep.
Shuffling up for a new fresh hand of 6.
Yep, and off of this, if he can find Lycanroc plus a strong energy, and he already has the Choice Band, he would be able to knock out this Buzzwole. But then at that point, Zach would just have the option to bring up his own Lycanroc, since Ryan has filled his bench up so much, and just one energy attachment would allow him to Dangerous Rogue for the KO. Zach is certainly ahead as far as energy attachments go at this point in the game. But if Ryan's able to deal with this Buzzwole with 3 energies on it, they're kind of closer to even footing at that point.
Right.
I do see a basic fighting, so at least have some sort of attachment. I don't know if I saw the strong yet.
I don't think he ended up getting the strong. It looks like a bunch of trainers.
I'm not sure if he's used his Abyssal Hand yet. If not, he can try to thin his hand down and then try to draw a few extra cards with that.
Don't think he has, so that is definitely an option for him at this time.
Yeah, he's kind of just looking at his hand, figuring out what he wants to do. I did see the basic fighting. I saw a Floatstone, so that's 2 cards he could play, but he definitely needs the strong energy if he wants to go for this Lycanroc play.
Looks like he's going to attach his basic energy to that Sudowoodo, starting to power him up for a couple turns later. Once again, marking his energy attachment.
Making sure no accidents happen here. And I think this is fine, right? Because if Ryan does go in and try to get that Lycanroc play, or maybe he looked at his hand from the Cynthia and saw, I'm not going to be able to get it. But even if he did go for that play, Zach could respond with his own Dangerous Rogue, and then Sudowoodo can't return the Dangerous Rogue because Ryan would have already used his GX attack.
Ryan ends up knocking out that Octillery, not letting Zach draw any extra cards should he need to.
Yeah, and I think this is totally fine if you are Ryan Sabelhaus. The Mew is going to have 30 damage on the bench if it ever goes to the bench, or it's going to just stay in the active. And then if Zach ever benches something else with low HP, if he ever benches another Rockruff or a Remoraid, Ryan can get off a really strong turn with something like a Guzma plus Regirock, take a knockout on that Pokemon, and take a knockout on the Mew that has this 30 damage on it. And that would put him at just 2 prizes and need 1 GX knockout. So smart play from Ryan, trying to set up the end game here as we move to the end of this first game of this set. So Zach went, and with that Brooklet Hill, found the Regirock EX, of course, boosting the damage of Fighting-type Pokemon by 10.
Does have a basic in hand, as well as a strong, which is going to go and beef up that Buzzwole even more.
Yeah.
We
Wants
see the
to be able
Guzma.
to use that Jet Punch. And we'll take 3 prizes here, knocking out the Rockruff and the Buzzwole on the bench.
Holy smokes.
That totally takes away Ryan's plans of Dangerous Rogue. He can't watch and learn super effectively here. It looks like Ryan's going to send up the Octillery. Ryan can definitely still respond to this, though. He needs just an energy plus an elixir, and he can Knuckle Impact for the KO. Or even at this point, Absorption GX would be fine, since you're probably not going to Dangerous Rogue at this point. Zach is only at 2 prizes remaining, so if I'm Ryan, I'm definitely going to try to find an in here this turn.
Definitely. especially since he doesn't have the artillery anymore.
Exactly. Ending Zach to low here would be very powerful. There is the strong energy. That is great to try to set up that that Knuckle Impact KO or the Absorption KO.
We'll take either or at this point.
Either or. There is that energy attachment marker right there. Ultra Ball can thin a couple of cards out for him, getting rid of an Octillery and one other card here.
Now, I must say, I do respect Ryan for taking like the advice of the groups that have come after him, saying, "Oh, you've been double attaching so often." He's actually being really good about this.
Yeah, making sure that there's, just keeping track of things, making sure no mistakes happen again. But with this Ultra Ball here, probably just not going to get anything, honestly. He's already used his Tapu Lele. Otherwise, I think he would have probably grabbed Lele in that turn. So he does need to find one Elixir still. He's played a couple at this point. I believe 3 at this point he has played, so I think he only has 1 left in the deck. But if he can hit it, that will be an extremely powerful turn from Ryan. And, Zach needs Choice Band plus Strong Energy to knock out this Buzzwole next turn if Ryan doesn't bench anything else.
Going with that Abyssal Hand,
There's the Elixir, the last Elixir. Does he hit it? He needs the top 6 cards. I think there is a basic fighting. He hits the energy he needs, and he'll be able to Knuckle Impact for the KO, and he has the end to follow it up as well.
Holy smokes. That was a solid play.
That is exactly what Ryan Sabelhaus needed this turn, and it's really going to come down to what can Zach draw on his 2 cards. He only needs 2 cards to win the game, being Strong Energy and Choice Band.
But will it be them?
But will those be the cards that he gets? Ryan will be able to come up. He'll be able to use Absorption GX, take a big KO.
All right. It's the moment of truth. Let's see.
2 cards on Zach's side.
Doesn't look like the strong.
Doesn't look like he got it. We'll see what Ryan is able to do. Does he have any other cards he wants to play? Doesn't look like it. There it is. The Absorption GX does take the KO on that Buzzwole. And we'll see if Zach is able to find what he needs. There's a Choice Band, but no Strong Energy, no Draw Supporter either. So 1 piece, but not both. And there's not even an attack that Mew can copy here. I guess he could use Encounter this turn to find a Lele and just hope that Ryan doesn't have a Guzma. But if Ryan Sabelhaus has a Guzma, he will be able to win the game this coming turn.
This isn't looking good at all for Zach.
This is certainly a close one, and this just shows how valuable it was for Ryan being able to knock out that Octillery a couple of turns ago, and it's really paying off here. Here comes a Brooklet Hill from Zach. Just going to kind of look through the deck. I'm not sure that there's anything he wants to necessarily bench here.
Not really. He does have a Rockruff in hand, but once again, not really sure you want that out there.
Yeah, Rockruff wouldn't be... Guzma wins him the game regardless, so I guess it doesn't really matter. He's going to do that, and yeah, looks like it's just going to be the encounter. Does Ryan Sabelhaus have the Guzma? He has Strong Energy Guzma. That is going to be the game, winning game number 1. Ryan Sabelhaus in this Buzzwole Lycanroc mirror match.
What a surprising turn of events. We saw Zach completely dominate that game.
Yeah. Zach was ahead on energy. His board just looked so much better. He had Octillery set up. But Ryan playing very smart, spreading his energy out very wisely, taking that Octillery out of play. You can tell that Ryan definitely knows how to play this mirror match.
Goes to show how this deck can just come back.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This deck, especially in these mirror matches, it's just you're slugging back and forth. You've got Dangerous Rogue, Knuckle Impacts, Absorptions, Watch and Learn, so many different options hitting each other back and forth. And,
so many spokes on the wheel that just keep this deck turning and just dominating.
Absolutely. So powerful, and Ryan was able to win that first game. Moving into game 2, what do you think Zach needs to change about his strategy to come out on top in the second one?
Honestly, I just hope Ryan doesn't draw what he needs. He played that game so well that it just came down to Ryan drew better cards.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think the big turning point there was Zach losing his Octillery, losing that extra draw power.
Definitely.
So if he can maybe try to get the second one set up, if Ryan is able to take out Remoraid once again, or excuse me, take out his first Octillery, that might be really important.
But even then, when that Octillery was taken out, it was so late in the game that it almost didn't matter. But we do see a double Buzzwole start, but Ryan does have that Rockruff on the bench.
Yep.
Zach going to play that Brooklet Hill down, searching his deck for a fighting or water Pokemon. What do you think he's going to go for here?
You know, it's always tough on this first turn. Do you get a Rockruff? Do you get an Octillery? And it really kind of depends on your hand to me. Excuse me, do you get a Remoraid? It really depends on your hand. I think if your hand is a little weaker, which it looks like Zach's is a little weaker, he may want to get the Remoraid so that he has the option to Octillery next turn if he draws an Ultra Ball or the Octillery.
Right.
But you also love getting that Rockruff in play so that you can Max Elixir to it early, so you can get some early attachments to it to really threaten your Dangerous Rogue and really force your opponent to play differently, right? So the threat of Dangerous Rogue is enough to make your opponent play differently sometimes, and they have to bench less stuff. They have to, like I said, play differently.
Right. We do see him go for that. Cynthia signaling that maybe that hand wasn't so good.
Yeah, had to use Tapu Lele for it. A lot of these Buzzwole decks only play one Tapu Lele GX. Not a card you usually have to use, but you need the one copy just in case sometimes, and it really bailed Zach out here, being able to find a supporter with that Wonder Tag ability.
Ooh, that looks like a half a hand of energy.
I think Zach had like 3 energies in his first hand, then he Cynthia'd away that hand and drew 3 energies once again. So this is not looking good for Zach Lesage.
But like we've said, they always do come back at times, and having energy isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world when it is this deck.
That's the thing about Buzzwole. If you're not drawing super well, if you're not playing supporters, if you're just drawing energy cards, you're usually fine, because you just need to get that 1 energy attachment per turn and keep the Buzzwole train rolling. And it looks like Ryan is doing just that with a strong energy plus a choice band on the active and using Brooklet Hill now.
Looks like he's also eyeing his own Remoraid right now.
Yeah, this choice is a little easier for Ryan since he already has the Rockruff down. Remoraid just makes the most sense.
Right.
Because you definitely, Octillery is just so important to being able to draw later on in the game with this deck. And, he'll be able to do a decent chunk of damage here, hitting for 80 with this Jet Punch on the active Buzzwole. On the first turn, it's not too bad, and I'm sure the 30 will go on the Remoraid as well.
Finally deciding after checking out his prizes and whatnot that he does go for that Remoraid.
Yeah, you see this from all of the top players almost. They always check their prizes. They always make sure they know what they're going to have access to throughout the game, what they're going to draw off of the prizes potentially later on, and it can really affect some of your decisions. Sometimes you'll play cards based on the fact, like, oh, if I take a prize here, there's a chance I'll get a draw supporter or something like that. Those really can affect your decisions.
All right, he does end up getting 3 energies.
Only can play 1 from the elixir, but yeah, he
he
found 3 of them. That is crazy. Looks like it's going to be just an N as well. And
Zach's probably very happy at this moment, getting rid of that 3 energy hand.
Knowing Zach, I'm pretty sure he probably just thanked Ryan for doing that, because that is not the hand he wanted to work with. I didn't notice if he had a supporter or not, but
I don't think he did.
Definitely a little awkward with that many energy, and just getting your hand refreshed is always great.
Time to see if he can get out of that slump of drawing 3 energy.
Yeah, maybe, hopefully it doesn't happen again, but statistically it can. We'll see what these guys get off of their own end. Of course, each will just be drawing 6 since this is still Ryan's first turn, still the beginning of the game.
Zach's just like, please let me shuffle this for a long time.
Yeah, I got to mix it up good, make sure there's no energies next to each other. And 6 cards apiece.
All right. He ends up with 1 energy
this time,
thankfully.
Looks like, okay.
It looks like a strong and a basic.
Okay, that's not too bad. That's a little more manageable. At least your basics are in the deck to increase your elixir odds.
It also seems to be a Guzma and maybe an elixir.
So he'll have options next turn.
But he definitely has the options. Ryan going with the option of hitting the Buzzwole as well as that Remoraid on the bench.
Yeah, and this really puts pressure on Zach to find that Octillery. If he doesn't, this Remoraid will go down, and that's honestly what I think ended up losing him the game, is after that N, he didn't have an ability to, draw some more cards. We'll see if he's able to get another Remoraid, maybe if he's able to find the Octillery itself. Using Brooklet Hill here, we'll see what he wants to get. Looks like he's just going to start with another Buzzwole. He does have a strong energy. Looks like an elixir as well in that hand. If he can Guzma plus get a Regirock in play with the strong energy, he'd be able to take out this Rockruff, which I think would be an excellent play if he has the cards to pull it off.
Definitely. Those Rockruffs are always threats, especially with those Lycanroc GXs being able to Bloodthirsty Eyes anything they want. We end up seeing him play an elixir here. Looks like it whiffs.
Oh no, drawing all the energy early and then not finding them when he needs them in his elixir. That is unfortunate.
The energy giveth and the energy taketh away.
Looks like it.
But we do have a Float Stone coming down onto that Remoraid just in case it is Guzma'd up, as well as a strong energy coming down onto that Buzzwole, and an N is played.
Yeah, Zach is definitely going to want to try and find that Octillery here to try to prevent this Remoraid from going down so easily. And, you know, choosing to attach to the active Buzzwole with the damage on it, you know, seems interesting. Maybe you want to spread your energy out a little bit more. But honestly, if Ryan doesn't put another strong energy on this active Buzzwole, this Zach's active Buzzwole is safe.
Yeah, it'll live for at least another turn.
Yeah. Even if Ryan would need another strong energy plus another Regirock, and then he has two strong energies, albeit, on a Pokemon with 80 damage on it. Provided Zach finds a Choice Band here, which it looks like he did.
Found the Choice Band as well as a basic, and...
Yeah, it looks like there is a Regirock EX, so he could boost that damage even more if he wants to here. And in as well for the next turn. Did not find that Octillery, though, which was one of the things that I just really thought he needed this turn. Does not find the Ultra Ball to get it, though, so that is unfortunate. And he will likely lose his Remoraid this turn. So Jet Punch hitting for 90 here, doing 30 to the Remoraid, choosing to target the Remoraid as opposed to the Rockruff. If you've got 4 Pokemon on your bench, I think you kind of want to deal with that threat of Rockruff, but at the same time, Zach saw how good it was, like how much it hurt him to lose his Octillery, wants to target down Ryan's as well.
I don't blame him. Being able to draw up to 5 cards is really good in this format.
Absolutely. Yeah, all of the most popular decks, for the most part, play some sort of ability-based draw engine. We have the Zoroark decks and the decks that play Octillery. Both, basically, all decks in the standard format use one of these 2 engines. There are, of course, exceptions to every rule, but they're just so powerful, and being able to Abyssal Hand, draw up to 5, or Zoroark trade and draw multiple cards, just very good. Looks like Brooklet Hill found a Buzzwole GX, and an Ultra Ball here is going to get another Pokemon out of the deck.
I have a feeling it might be the Octillery, because we know how fragile they are with only 60 HP, 1 more Jet Punch, and it is gone.
Yeah, Octillery definitely makes the most sense to me, and it seems like that is what Ryan is going to get.
So it will at least live for another turn, should it be Jet Punched.
He did have to get rid of a Guzma, which is a pretty important resource in these matchups. You want to be able to bring up the things on your opponent's bench that are threats, like the Rockruff. But, I mean, the good thing for Ryan here, Zach has not benched a Rockruff yet.
Right, and he still hasn't, so it could be like that one-way Guzma of the Bloodthirsty Eyes. So getting rid of that Guzma is, while not ideal, it's not the worst thing in the world. Not being able to find that Octillery, I think, would be far worse for Ryan at this point.
We see another Ultra Ball coming out. Looks like it's going to be for that Regirock EX. Going to just boost the damage. He does a little bit more. If he does find a strong energy, he will be able to knock out this active Buzzwole GX, doing 110 damage.
See?
Will be the exact 190 he needs to take the KO.
Looks like he will be drawing 4 off an Abyssal Hand.
So let's see if he can get there. Strong energy. 1, 2.
I think
it was the very first card.
card.
The very first card gets the strong energy he needs. Ryan Sabelhaus will be able to Jet Punch, take the KO. But at the same time, this is what I was talking about. It puts him in an awkward spot because he's got 2 energies, 2 strong energies on a Buzzwole with 90 damage on it.
Right. Maybe. Let's see. I know he has 2 basics. I hope it's the strong energy.
Yeah, I thought I saw it as well, but maybe we are mistaken. Oh, no, he didn't get it, actually. That is our mistake, guys. Looks like he did not find the strong energy yet, but he does have a Cynthia, which can potentially find it for him.
Right. I think what we saw was that float stone that went down on the Regirock, sadly. Close enough, though, right?
I got so excited for that. I was like, he hit exactly what he needed, but no, does not quite get there. So we'll see 6 cards off Cynthia. Does he find that strong energy? Is that the play he's going to go for? Holding his cards straight up and down so we can't quite see. I see a basic fighting, so at least have an energy attachment, worst case scenario.
I don't think he had it.
Doesn't look like he got there. But, you know, honestly, this almost is just as good for Ryan, right? Because he's spreading his energy out a little more. You know, if he puts the 2 on the Buzzwole, sure, he gets the 2 prizes, but he's also going to lose those 2 energies as well.
He was tempted to put down that Choice Band, which, while not the most ideal play right now, he'd probably want to save it just in case there's a field blower.
Yeah.
Being able to flex with 3 Choice Bands on the field is unreal. He's in a great position.
Absolutely. So we do just see the Jet Punch come out, does a decent chunk of damage to Zach's Buzzwole in the active, and does take out that Remoraid on the bench. Zach left with no Remoraid, no Rockruff even. This is kind of an awkward spot for Zach, honestly. He can put an energy on the active, and try to set up his bench Buzzwole, excuse me. But He's actually not quite knocking out Ryan's active Buzzwole. He would need his own strong energy.
Right.
And then he's putting another energy on a Pokemon that already has 170 damage on it.
Right, and at that point you're just like, is it even worth it?
Yeah, because this Buzzwole will 100% go down this game. There's no way for it to leave the field. There's no Parallel City. There's no Acerola, no Super Scoop Up. So at any point in the game, Ryan will be able to Jet Punch it, whether it's in the active or on the bench, for 2 prize cards.
We end up seeing Zach opt for a basic energy onto his benched Buzzwole.
Yep, and did get the Remoraid down with that Brooklet Hill. Definitely valuing that extra draw power from the Octillery if he can get it set up next turn.
Did also play a Cynthia, allowing him to get that fresh 6 cards.
So while Zach won't get the knockout this turn, he will set up some more damage. He can, set it up to where he can Jet Punch this active Buzzwole and the Octillery, and then he can get a 3 prize turn in the following turns by taking a knockout on these 2 Pokemon with another Jet Punch on another Buzzwole.
Definitely.
So really smart, spreading the damage around, setting up these multiple prize turns. And we see an Ultra Ball as well in his hand from that Cynthia. Might want to get a Rockruff in play finally. He has not been able to do that yet. He also, I could understand potentially wanting to save it because Ryan is probably going to be Jet Punching that Remoraid.
But if he does bring out that Rockruff, there is the option that Ryan could just start Jet Punching that as well. Though
Absolutely.
Unlikely, as we've seen him just constantly go after those Remoraids. But it does leave, do I go for the Lycanroc potential? Like to just get it out of the way? Do I go for this Octillery potential? Get it all out there?
Lots of different options. We'll see what Zach finishes up with his turn here.
There's a Choice Band in hand as well.
Yeah, usually these Buzzwole decks don't play Field Blower, so you usually feel pretty safe putting your tools down. But there's always the off chance that someone does play a Field Blower in their deck.
We've seen some strange things at events.
We certainly have. It looks like Zach is just going to opt to spread that damage on to the Buzzwole and the Octillery on Ryan's bench. And it's going to be over to Ryan here. What is he going to do? If he has a Guzma, he could knock out either this Remoraid or the Rockruff on the bench and get a knockout on this Buzzwole in the active spot for Zach.
Once again, the crucial Brooklet Hill for the first part of the turn.
Yeah, and I think Ryan may want to get another Remoraid here because he knows his other one will go down, and he knows how important Octillery is going to be.
Right.
And looks like that is what he brought to the bottom of the deck. Just going to kind of check through the rest of his deck, though, make sure there's nothing else he wants to get. Maybe also eyeing up a Rockruff, actually. Which I think this is fine, too, because you want to, like, that Bloodthirsty Eyes ability can just be so useful.
Yeah, he's definitely giving another option just in case, for some reason, something is knocked out. And as well as also having 2 one-way Guzmas, essentially.
Absolutely. That effect is just so powerful. We've seen it throughout the TCG's history. It was printed originally on Luxray Level X, Luxray GL Level X, as Bright Look, bringing up one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. It just has always been good as long as it's been around. We do see the energy attachment plus a Choice Band coming onto that benched Buzzwole. Floatstone to the Octillery.
Almost every one of his Pokemon has a tool on it right now.
Yeah, if Ryan can find a Lycanroc to bring up one of these 60 HP Pokemon, or a Guzma, either one I think would be great for him. Looks like it's going to be a Sycamore, so maybe trying to find the Lycanroc. Oh, maybe not. Trying to just figure it out. Nope, going to dig a little deeper with the Abyssal Hand.
Ends up getting a Max Elixir.
Very nice.
He did hit the basic off the first card as well as I think the fourth.
Yep, he has exactly what he needs there. It's always tricky if you want to Abyssal Hand before you Sycamore, because sure, it lets you see more cards on your turn. It lets you thin your deck slightly more. But what if Ryan had drawn like a Strong Energy right there, and he had to Sycamore away a Strong Energy? That would be like, there's just a chance, like he could have drawn a Guzma, he could have drawn another Sycamore. There's always potential cards that you could draw that you don't want to get.
Right. But sometimes that risk does outweigh the reward at times.
Yeah, absolutely. And it ends up paying off for him in this instance, finding him an Elixir. And he does get a second one here, getting another energy onto Rockruff. There's the Lycanroc. Bloodthirsty Eyes going to target down that Remoraid. And Jet Punch taking a 3-prize knockout here, KOing that benched Buzzwole GX.
Going down to 2 prizes while Zach still has 6.
This is looking very good for Ryan. 2 prizes remaining. He has a fully powered Buzzwole GX on the bench. He has a Lycanroc GX ready to go on his bench as well. He has just set himself up perfectly in this game, too.
He has.
Looks like Zach is going to send up the Regirock.
Ooh, you know it's bad when the Regirock comes up.
Yeah. Usually he would have sent it up immediately, I think, if he had a Floatstone in his hand, so I don't think he has one immediately, but he may be trying to dig for one at this point. Looks like we're just going to see the N put Ryan down to just 2 cards. Zach will still get 6, having not taken a prize card yet.
It's not too bad for Ryan, considering he does have the Abyssal Hand ability to use next turn, which will draw him up to 5.
Well, there is always the chance, though, that if Zach does use Jet Punch this turn, he could knock out that Octillery with 60 damage
does
on
have
it.
60.
Yep. And I think Zach here, if he could get a Mew plus a Max Elixir and a Floatstone, that would be good. It would let him take a 3-prize turn as well. That would put him very far back into this game. But he would have to hit the Elixir since he's already attached this turn. He does hit the Elixir. There's a Mew as well, I think. I don't know that I see the Floatstone, though. So he's just going to opt to play the Elixir maybe onto this Buzzwole. Does hit the energy,
hit it.
Puts it onto Buzzwole GX. And we'll just have to see. Ryan has left himself with lots of options here. You know, it was smart of him now looking at it. Getting that Rockruff is going to allow him to have the option to Bloodthirsty Eyes for the win. It also means Guzma can get him the win. It also, you know, he's just got lots of ways to win this turn. It's just a pass from Zach. Does not find the Floatstone. Is not able to do anything. Ryan is going to attach an energy to the active, retreats the 2 energies off, and just knuckle impacts for the game and the win on that Regirock EX. And a pretty convincing game 2 from Ryan Sabelhaus, showing why he is a 6-time regional champion and showing why he's so comfortable with this deck and why he's so good with it. One of the best with it.
Exactly.
So, you know, that was Ryan moves to 4-0 at this point. Great place to be in this tournament. Probably going to need to have a couple of 6-1 and 2s will probably make it to this tournament, but